Then we come to mains part of the preparation. Mains part of the preparation is consists of 5 parts. Essay, General Studies 1, which broadly covers history, geography, Indian society. Then it covers culture of India. Finally, it covers something related to world history also. Paper 2, it consists of paper 2 is it has considerably been tough by UPSC since past 4 to 5 years, mainly because people do not know the sources from where to read, and it is actually a bit vast also. There you have when you start from constitutional comparison of different countries, then you go to state government, then you go to the union government administration, then you have quasi-judicial bodies, then you have pressure groups, NGOs, self-help groups, then you have issues relating to poverty, hunger, then finally you come to international relations. Paper 3, again, it is also a vast paper. You start with Indian economy, agriculture, science, technology, then you go to disaster management, intellectual property rights, security issues. So it's actually also a lengthy paper. Paper 4, ethics, how application of ethics in day-to-day life. Finally, you have essay. Essay is also a very, very important part, which I'm going to discuss subsequently of your UPSC preparation. So across all these 5 papers which I just mentioned, UPSC asks you moderate to slightly tough questions. It is never very, very tough. People find it tough because they have not covered the right sources, or they have not covered the right way of answering these questions. They have not done adequate answer writing practice, which is very important. So, secondly, UPSC asks you mostly from current affairs. If you see questions over 5 years, they're international, maybe it be about international relations, maybe it be about essay, may it be about say General Studies 1 and 2. They will ask you almost 50 to 80% of questions based on current affairs with a static undertone. For example, if they ask you about cloudburst, obviously on urban flooding, obviously you must know the geography behind cloudburst, but you must be aware about the recent urban flooding example, say in Chennai or say in Srinagar, and you must be able to relate the same. If they are asking you about CAG and its functioning, then you must know about the constitutional provisions of CAG. Where does it derive its power from? Then you must relate to what are the recent developments of CAG in India. What are the problems faced by CAG? What are the problems faced by, what are the solutions? Solutions can be about CAG, the institution of CAG across the developed countries. Write it down. Last year, similarly, a question came about Delhi and the local relationship with the union government and the role of the lieutenant governor, which was there in the news. And another question came about Kashmir, which is also there in the news. But then again, about Kashmir, you need to have a static revision, because you must be able to know the provisions of 370, Article 370. You must know what are the legal complications, social complications, economic complications, if we are to do something with it. So this way, you must have a static knowledge related to your current events. Another aspect of say UPSC is you have to interlink all these 5 subjects. For example, they are asking about Indus Water Treaty. They are asking about social, political, and economic implications. But economy is there in paper 3. So for every problem, you must be able to interlink it. If there is a question on ethics, you must ethics and NGO. NGO is there in paper 2. So you read the problems about what NGOs, self-help groups are facing in paper 2. Then in paper 4, ethics, which was a question asked last year, you talk about how ethical is that problem of NGO, of self-help group, etc. If there is a question, this time a very peculiar phenomenon has happened. They have asked about urban flooding smart city mission in at least 3 different papers. So in paper 1, if they have asked you because they want to know about the geographical social implications of smart city project as well as urban flooding. If they have asked you in paper 3, they want to know about the economic implications of smart city project, economic implications of say urban flooding, the technological aspects of urban flooding, technological aspects of smart city project. So people what they do, people what they have done, or the mistake they do, paper one they write it down the same answer, they will write it down about smart city in the same way in paper 3. So you must interlink and understand. Then we go about another very tough question, which is about choosing optional, which is a very big doubt about most of the students. Students always ask me, last year also they have asked me this year, how do you go about choosing optional? Optional choosing is the most crucial aspect of your UPSC preparation. Please be very, very careful about choosing optional. Secondly, people have this misconception or these stories they hear that every time we get people are there who have chosen one optional, this time they have got success, the next time with another optional. Certain optionals are bad, certain optionals are good, certain optionals are mark fetching, certain optionals are not. All these sorts of unnecessary questions, I'll be telling, they have in their mind. If you are good at your optional is like an expression of yourself. Why do you choose an optional? Why do people choose sociology? Why do people choose political science? Why do people choose public administration? If we go to that, then the basic thing is the person has an interest in that subject, number one. Number two, it somehow relates to an extension of himself. For example, why did I choose public administration? Because I have an inherent interest in public administration. Number one, I find the subject very dynamic, very related to my work as an administrator. Second, somehow in the long run, I see that I am a public administrator. I have an interest about public interface. How does the government help the public? Third, it helps me, it is about strategy also. Public administration helps in me covering most of the portions of general studies paper 2 and paper 4. Interlinking is there. So in spite of public administration facing a backlash, a so-called backlash, and getting very less marks since 2012, last year also my score wasn't that good, 209 I had got. But because I had public administration in a state civil services exam where I had scored phenomenally well, I had confidence that I am good at public administration. I need to tweak my strategy a bit or improve my answer writing, and I could be among the toppers in UPSC. And lo and behold, it happened that way also. So if you think you have an interest in sociology or you are interested about the social aspects of governance, please take it. If you think that taking literature as an optional gets you more marks, please take it. If you think that technically, if you take a technical subject, may it be mechanical, civil, electrical engineering, and you think that it has a relevance in getting you through public sector exams, units exams, Indian Engineering Service, other exams, please take it. So have your own reasons for taking optionals. Do not follow on what toppers say, what the market says, what teachers say, etc. You must have your clarity in taking optionals, because I've seen people take optionals based on other people's opinion. They start it, they read it, they become disillusioned, they become frustrated because they do not have a natural interest. They've taken it because someone has told them so. They've taken it because they thought that marks will be good while getting it. And it is one of the most disastrous aspects of UPSC preparation, which I personally feel, because you get to write mains or prelims at least one, I mean, it's very rare of you to write it consecutively. It's a once in a life moment. And people really destroy it by taking an optional about which they have no choice, no clarity, no conviction. So choose an optional based on an interest and based on the marks which you would get. And marks is not dependent on any trend, because every year UPSC has this trend of people, for example, last year law, sociology had done phenomenally well, but this year law and sociology haven't done well. 5 years, for continuously 5 years, public administration was doing bad, but this year public administration has done good. Political science, every alternate year it undergoes a dip in its fortunes. This year public political science, if I'm not very wrong, around 23 people are there in the top 100. Anthropology is so-called favorite of all students. Last year it had around 23 selections in the top 100, but this time I think the number has dwindled. So do not go by these statistics. Please, I request all you friends, do not go by statistics, go by your interest and go by how you can do best in your optional.